Welcome to another Yack and Yarn with Crafting with Kara. Today we have Mahogany on the couch, who's so excited. Yes. Oh, and a pause. And then we also have Ginger over here, which is fun. Yes, she grunted when I said that. Hello. Yes, can I have my hand back? Thank you. Let's just do a quick little hello to yes, and Mahogany. More hello to Mahogany. Thank you. I'm trying to show Ginger off. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness. All right. So that's the chaos on the couch right now. Yeah. Hey, let's all be calm. Let's all be calm. Good girls. Excuse me. I'm drinking some more of that pumpkin tea. I'm feeling very autumnal today. We just went for our walk, and all the leaves are not all, honestly, a very few leaves are like fun and pretty and like have fallen from the ground. So that's exciting. Oh boy. And now I'm realizing I just maybe dropped some stitches. Give me a second. The dogs are playing. I'm going to pick this up. Whew. You can't go playing with Mahogany and cuddling with her when you've got live stitches on the needles. Oh my goodness. While I finish this row before I show off my Mystery MusiKAL, I'll chat a little bit. So this is my sugary brown pullover yet again. Today I've got big plans, and so I thought I'd do this real quick before I head off on all my list of things to do. Oh, Mahogany kisses all over me. I love her, but I'm also allergic to dogs, which I know. I have 2 dogs. What am I doing? But I can't live without them. And Mahogany's a kisser, so I gotta say, all that saliva is not really what I anticipated. But that's all right. She is magnificent. She's a great dog. She's such a good girl. Aren't you a good girl? Since they were just playing, they got off the couch, so now she's over in the kitchen. But yeah, it's kind of a bummer that I'm allergic to dogs and that she loves kisses so much. But what can you do? This is, the cards you're dealt. So today I get to hang out with my cousin and her daughter. I call her my niece. She calls me my uncle, her uncle. We don't have to be completely accurate when we're talking, to people. So we get to go to the zoo today, which is very exciting. Hence the very fun autumnal sweater. It's going to be about 60 degrees. I can't recall what that is in Celsius. At one point, when I was working with people overseas, I tried to memorize at least like major milestones, but I don't recall. Excuse me. So, we are going to the zoo, and it's going to be just a little bit like cool and crisp and fallish, which is fantastic. I was saying earlier, a lot of our leaves have not fallen or started changing colors whatsoever. A lot of our trees are green, like the vast majority, over like 80% are green, which to me is surprising because Halloween is this week. It's Friday, and I'm filming on Wednesday. No, because I work Wednesday. Is today Tuesday? Today must be Tuesday. So I it's fun to have like the moments of fall, but I'm a little like I'm waiting for the leaves. I'm really hoping for it soon. But I'm still embracing it, so I've got my fun little like leafy earrings and my autumnal sweater, and I'm sipping on some of my pumpkin tea. I've officially had one of those like pumpkin spiced. It's not like the like pumpkin spice latte, but I always indulge in like a pumpkin thing around this time of year, and it's just so yummy. I I even had fun, big plans in Chicago, like downtown on Saturday. And so I wanted to be caffeinated for that. So I had one. We did Kong. Kong all done. Sorry, Mahogany was talking. Kong all done. We just did it. We did it before we started this. She gets greenies, like which are like dog breath teeth toys beforehand or treats every day because the doctor said that she has some tartar building up. So either I could brush her teeth, ew, gross. I don't want to get one of those like weird finger things, or we could just give her a treat every single day and she would be happy. So now every day she knows. Booty, yes, Booty, come here, Booty. Yeah, she's got those buttons, and she asked for Booty. Up in, Booty. Come here. Oh, Ginger, you will get off the couch if you have to. Booty! Booty! So, I will officially start chatting about the Mystery MusiKAL now. If you don't want spoilers for Clue 4 and the second half of Clue 3, then, look away, stop the video. Oh, the dog. Whatever you need to do, go for it. Because that's what I'll be chatting about. Last you saw me, I had not started the second half of Clue 3. I did do that, and then I did some minor modifications. I wanted to end up knitting more than purling, so I liked starting things from the inside, which, would normally be the right side of the work, but because this was only like a halfway of the project, I was starting from the inside of the project and working out, and that ended up me, since I was on the right side, knitting the first row. Then I got to knit the second row because that ended up being purling. I only had to purl one row back, and then I knit again. However, I do not recommend this because I ended up with like loose ends on the inside that I'm real nervous about. Like, I'm even gonna tie knots because I'm very paranoid. It just ended up being like, it just seems so precarious, those loose ends, and it ended up throwing off my count completely because like the wrap-in turns all were like, I was only doing half as many wrap-in turns because other times I was straight up starting the yarn there. Which I think ended up throwing off something, because when he was like, you want 19 of these cute basket weave rows, I ended up only with, I think, 13. And even then, it was like a really short little nubby, I think even shorter than anticipated. So yeah, things ended up being a little weird. I didn't rip it out because I didn't mind it. Like I said, I'm going to tie knots and make sure that like the weaving in is strong. But other than that, I didn't mind the result of like not being 19 baskets high. Because then when we ended up seeing Clue 4, again, spoiler for Clue 4 in case you don't want to know, he's tacking on a border, which I love, but again, just to refresh everyone's memory, I'm doing DK weight and I'm making this a blanket. So when he said, that's the final shape, I said, gulp. I've got to make some modifications to make this a little bit more blankety and a little bit less dramatic asymmetrical shawl, which I love the dramatic asymmetrical shawl. I think it's super cool. I think with that like real specific like edge to the end, I think it makes it easy to like throw around. And just like he talked about in the video, like when you wrap it around, you just get flashes of all the different patches and colors and everything. So I think that's, pretty darn cool. And I would wear it depending on what colors I had made it, if I in fact had made a shawl. But because I'm making a blanket, this ended up being, real narrow on one side, but then on the wavy side ended up being pretty throw blanket size. So like if I have it on the couch, it can hit my like hips and then go down past my knees, which I appreciate. The fact that it's so long kind of ends up meaning that it's like a 2-person throw for a couch rather than just one small rectangle. So like this couch fits 3 people or 1 human and 2 dogs. And so when 2 humans, me and my husband Nick, sit on the couch, we could then, put the throw blanket on both of our legs, which is nice. So I'm now going to try to make that kind of shape on the second side. So on the side that was real narrow, if you can picture, one side being pretty sizable for one person to get throw blanket wise, and then the other person getting the sliverest of a triangle, being like, I hope you're warm enough. I'm hoping to avoid that. So the modifications that I'm making before tacking on the border, which I do appreciate, is making big old triangle wedges. I had to math out a whole bunch of stuff. I'll show you. Here's all my chaotic notes. What I should have done was grab an actual notepad, but I had Post-its next to me. So 4 Post-its later, I now have an idea, a lot of cross multiplication and everything like that to figure out stitches and everything. So on the slimmer side, I want to add 17 inches without continually increasing, right? So in the second half of clue 3, we were adding a stitch every time we were on the wrong side, if I remember correctly, of that basket weave, right? So that's why it's got this angle. Now, what I've done is stopping the angle and just making it a nice straight line. And I'm hoping that I did the math right and that for 17 inches, I will make these wedges and it will kind of fill in the gap. It'll go in the same kind of slant and slope as the basket weave, but have the same feeling as the squiggles, as well as kind of mimicking the garter rhombuses, the harlequin section. But I'm doing it in stockinette because I like my hand-dyed yarns, and I think it shows off that a little bit better in stockinette than it does in garter. So because I'm making it up and there's no rules, I thought, why not? I'm doing a purled ribbed section. I'm sorry, it's not even ribbed, just a purled section in between with the color that I can easily buy the most. Because I figure I'll use these colors, see how much I use, and then have the other one kind of be the glue or the grout. I know technically I'm using less, but I'm using it in more spaces. And so if I decide to use it in more locations, then I can go to the yarn store and buy it. Sorry, I'm like 10 stitches away. I'll be able to show you what I'm working on. I'll be able to unfurl it. Now, in my mind and my little drawings, I was picturing these wedges to be triangular. But I knew I was going to do wrap and turns every 4 stitches. So it ended up following the exact same shape as the basket weave, where you end up knitting 3 and then, first you do a wrap and turn, and then you end up knitting 3, because that consumes 4 stitches. I thought it was nice that it ended up working out that it's the same as the basket weave section. I do now realize that every 4 means that you get a slope instead of an actual like harsh triangle edge. In fact, if I wanted that, I would have had to do much more spaced out wrap and turns. So what I'm ending up with instead is a long rectangle with a weird slant at the end. But because I'm making it up as I go, I'm fine with it. Again, it's showing off the stockinette colors of my hand-dyed yarn, which I'm happy with. Sorry, I'm almost done. I'll be able to show. My plan is to do 5 sections of 10 I-cord rows, which means 20 rows each, of these weird triangular slants, and then to have these purl bumps be 4 rows total. So here we go. Let's show this off. There's the harlequin section. I know I showed that already. Then there's my basket weave, which ends up being a little shallower than other people's because of my the modification that I made to try and knit more than purl, which is ironic because now that I'm doing stockinette, I'm purling a bunch, and knowing that that didn't work in the basket weave section, I thought for a second about doing it in this like purl bump of the like green, but I realized you don't want to have like trust issues with the yarn. So there you go. I now have to purl, I think, 3 rows of this. So here's a huge yellow rectangle, which at first might seem jarring, like in comparison to everything else, but I think it'll tie together well enough. And it's doing what I want it to do, which is adding length to this edge. So again, we went real, like, we had slanting to get that shawl shape. And now I said, good, I don't need it to be any longer. It's already plenty long. So now I've got all I did was not increase on the edge. And now I've got a straight side going. So here's that straight like part Like I said, it looks just like a rectangle, right? Right now you cannot tell that I'm trying to make it a triangle until we get all the way to down here. And then I've got some of those short row wedges. Now, I decided arbitrarily, actually based on math and looking at it, I sprawled it all out. But this was going to be where I did all my triangles from. Again, 17 rows on the I-cord edge, and this is that's as far as it'll go because now I'm wrapping and turning over here. So I'm going to have a speckly green section for 20 rows. Then I'm going to have a blue and then a dark green. And then I've got one random scrap that I haven't used yet, which is another tweed, like multicolor. But, so this is my dark green. I assume I'll have enough there. Let me see. Nope, that's not it. Oh, there it is. So I've got this much of like a dark tweed. And now that I'm looking at it, maybe it's not enough. But I'll be on the last triangle. Maybe I'll be able to get 20 rows out of this. I think it'll be pretty short at the time. We'll see. If not, I'll have a backup plan and I'll figure it out. So this at least is my plan for the 5th triangle. And then I'm using this color as pearl bumps throughout all of them. And that I use throughout the whole blanket. Then once I'm done with my weird triangles, I still won't have necessarily the shape that I want because, again, let me show. So we've got the like, if you've done it, you know that when you do the border, the like wavy bits remain and the border stays there, which I think is so cool. So this is my first wavy bit, like that's in the center when it goes from straight slope to a now curve. I'm doing triangle bits from the bottom of the first curve, but I still want to end up making the height of the curve outward. So that's my plan, but I didn't want to do triangles for that whole thing. So once I've got this, once I've got all my triangles done, I'm going to do another green of this like pearl bumpy row. It's like this guy. I'm going to do another pearl bump and then close up all my gaps. And then I'll have this distance that I'll make rectangles. Like it'll be one rectangle that I'm going to knit with. Yet again, not doing the full length. I was looking at past Stephen West patterns and I was thinking maybe I'd do painted columns. I think that's what they're called. I have that painted bricks sweater. I saw some other people on the Ravelry thing doing some painted bricks or like the, it's not even honeycombs, but it ends up looking like a diamond, but there's like rectangles inside it. It's kind of cool. But that I ended up, I'm like not thinking about that as much because I still like the border. I like the idea of doing both brioche or vertical stripes because I'm not sure if I necessarily want to do brioche for, you know, a bunch of it. So I think I might do, if I have enough yarn or if I need to go buy more, like 4 border stripes, maybe even 5, and do like 2 of garter. So that way we've got long color stripes and then maybe 3 of garter. And then 2 that somehow you get the like vertical stripes. So whether it's brioche or I do like some kind of 2x2 color work or something like that. The only downside is purling back on color work. I don't feel as confident with because all the color work I've done has been in cowls in the round or sweaters in the round and things like that. So I think the only times that I've done color work flat, I was going to say for a teapot cozy, but that was in the round too. I did one like hot plate trivet. So that I ended up doing. Okay, so years ago I did purling color work. Must not be that hard. I did it years ago. It might be. It might have been a challenge. It ended up being a pretty small little heat trivet. But yeah, so I'm thinking about doing painted columns for this section. Although if I ended up doing painting columns for the border, maybe I'll do something else for this rectangle. But I'm thinking just something where we've got like up and down kind of stuff. Since all these triangles end up being so long, I'm now looking for something to go up and down perpendicular to the long stripes. So if you have any suggestions or ideas, I would love to hear them. Hit me up in the comments. These triangles are going to take forever, so I will definitely not be working on it before I read the comments. So please let me know. This is where like the fun bit, in my opinion, happens with the mystery music, with really any mystery make along, but with the mystery MusiKAL specifically, because this one's so crazy and patchworky that I can do anything and it's not going to look like jarringly out of place because it's all kind of crazy and mismatched and out of place, right? Like, look at that's just so insane. Look at all of these, which I love. I'm so excited. It's just, it means that I have free reign to choose anything. It's not like it has to be a soft curve or it has to be a harsh line. It can be anything. I thought about maybe doing this again in that rectangle space, but I like something new and different. So yeah, definitely let me know in the comments if you have ideas. But right now I'm thinking painting columns, or just like some kind of motif like that. But I think it would be cool to do 2, if not 3 colors, trying to incorporate that somehow. The painting columns, luckily, at least from what I've seen, you can do like real short ones. So maybe like a real squatty column and then a column of another like set of colors and then the same thing. Very much alluding to what I'll do for the border, which is 2 colors at a time. Again, maybe 5 times. We'll see again about the yarn consumption. I'm pretty sure that all of like the colors I was using in here, like my main ones, I will probably run out. The dark blue, I'm really going to be pushing it if I make this next triangle, because that's the one I have the least of, and yet it's the 3rd triangle that I want, which means I'm doing like it started out as over 200 stitches. I think it was 240 to here. So this I'm probably at like 220. So it'll probably be 200 stitches 20 times. Yeah, I don't have the blue yarn for that. I might need to reconsider my plan. Or go upstairs to my yarn stash and see if I have any other like dark blues that can kind of pretend to be a blue like this for a section. Luckily, I have a lot of fingering, so I could even hold that double for a section. This is going to take some thinking. But luckily, again, I've done maybe 4 rows of this like pretty green. Really, the main reason why I want to do this stockinette section, I loved my yellow and my green speckles together. And although they look amazing in the shawl, they have yet to have like moments where the variegated really sings. So this is me just shoving that in. The Harlequin section was close, but as I mentioned earlier, the garter kind of, it muddies it a little. It still looks beautiful, and I really like everything together, and I loved the process of knitting this. I think also the garter helps make like this edge look easier, because if it was all stockinette, it might be a little bit different. So I love this section. I just wanted to shoehorn in some beautiful stockinette, so I did. Yeah. If you've seen the Ravelry boards, a lot of people have done things and they look gorgeous. People wearing it, people putting it on the mannequins. Looks magnificent. I think it's so cool. Definitely some beautiful color choices. Somebody did a test knit with all purples. Really cool. A few people, ended up doing something totally different, which is always fun to see. One person ended up doing basically clue 1 and 2 a second time and stitching them kind of like butterfly wings. Very cool. If that's you, shout out. Nice job. I thought that was super cool. I think somebody else ended up doing something similar because I'm remembering it in 2 different colors. And there were a few that with the Harlequin section, either ended up doing different color placements all over the place. That was cool. But the one I really thought was interesting was the one that kind of like mirrored the scalloped sections onto the other side. So like, since this section is all garter, they made this one all garter as well. And then the whole column like that. So like there's just one little triangle, but like here, the one that shut off it, all 4 of these were like, I think the same color garter. And then this next section was brioche, so it was vertical lines. They did something in order to make vertical stripes. And then over here, there were the eyelet section. They did a whole column of eyelet sections, and then back to the garter. And then they said afterwards that they were going to like top stitch whatever their welt color was in between the two. So cool, so creative. I think it's really interesting, and I love that they were like, that section's not super for me, and so I'm gonna do this instead. And I think they even dropped in like directions on how to do it. So cool. I love the community with all this. I do think it's a little bit sad when sometimes the comments are like, you're no longer following the rules. How dare you? You're not doing an MCAL. Live and let live, man. Like, you can think that if you want, which to me is a little strange that you're even like thinking about somebody else's project and breaking the rules. Girl, there are no rules. I say that, who knows if they're, but whatever. So I absolutely love the creativity and the people going nuts, but obviously because that's what I'm doing. If you are one who's all about following the rules, that's super cool for you. Just maybe don't rain on other people's parades is all I'm saying. I was one that followed, I would say to the letter, the first shawl I did, but I ended up adding just a little bit extra in one section. But I knew it wouldn't mess up my count number, and I knew it wouldn't, like I was very much like, I'm gonna break the rules, but really I'll only bend them because it'll end up being the same. The first one I did was shawlography with the shrimpy I cords, and the clue ended with those shrimpy I cords. And I was like, I'm not loving this, but I'm going to do it anyway, because what if, I think he wanted us to make 10 little I cord bumps for every single one. I was like, what if we pick up on that I cord edge, like 10 there and 10 there and 10 there and 10 there, because I had seen somebody else doing one of these, and they had talked about how they decided instead of doing I cords to do something totally different. I think they did bobbles, and it ended up looking amazing, but it just was, to me, nerve-wracking because it was the end of a clue and you don't know where the next clue is going to start. Okay, pick up, and we need 150,000 stitches, so you're going to pick up every single edge off the I-cord edge. And if you didn't make the I-cord edge, then you're like, well, my bobble, I can only pick up 3. I'm going to have to make like 45 off of this little space. It ended up being perfect and fine, but we didn't know for a week that that was the case. So maybe because of the tying in ends and everything, sometimes I have some trust issues. So I want to follow directions to make sure that I know what I can do. I didn't start these triangle bits until I saw what clue 4 was. And that's when I was like, need to pivot now. The basket weave thing, not having 19 rows, I was nervous at the time until I saw, oh, we're just tacking on a border. It's not going to matter, which to me ended up being great because it means that I think I had less length, which maybe in a shawl is bad, but for this blanket is good. I don't need 6 people to be covered in this blanket at one time, especially if it's only going to cover their knees. But yeah, I'm super excited about this process. I will be, chucking in some extra videos. I'll be checking the comments and things like that. And so that way you can watch and see how this unfurls. I got to imagine that it's going to take some time though, because just that yellow section, I think took me 2 days. And I was just thinking, was it days that I was like working and doing things? No, Sunday I definitely had free. So yeah, woof. But that's all right. So I had lots of time to make this, and then I'm going to make another one and then quite a few others. Let's hope that the yarn chicken game I win every time. It is hard. The more you play yarn chicken, the more likely you are to lose. It's like Russian roulette that way. Or I guess real roulette. But yeah, so let me know in the comments if you have ideas for my weird rectangle section. And in general, I'm loving this. I think it's so cool. I think it's really squishy and nice. I am absolutely loving it. I some of my yarn is so soft, and so when I get to like this section, oh, you feel it, and it's just so nice. I can't wait till it's done and I get to wrap myself in it. I was talking about it can be a really long knee blanket. My other idea is it's like a real thin, tall blanket. So very like, okay, if I don't move my arms much, I can be comfortable, or you take your arms out and you're just in a weird bib of blanket. But yeah, I think this is really fun. I'm excited to like throw it on the couch and have it be this like insane, amazing statement piece. When people come over, oh, did you make that? Oh yeah, I did. Like it's Nick keeps joking that this time of year, since I keep wearing my hand knits, he's like, you're just asking for people to like ask about it, and I'm like, no, it's because I spent all this time and money on these projects. I want to now wear them now that it's the right temperature. Fun added bonus if someone says, "Oh, I love your sweater," bye mahogany. If someone says, "Oh, I love your sweater," I can be like, "Thanks, I made it." Especially some of my sweaters are kind of old, so I get to be like this old thing. But this one I think I only made like 3 years ago. Yeah, I already am thinking about a cardigan that is similar to these colors. When I first picked these out and did DK instead, I had fingering weight that was very similar in like the blue green vibes and just was just so exciting, and it was really getting, I was getting excited. And then when I decided to do DK instead, I was like, well, now I have like 4 or 5 skeins of green blue and I don't know what to do with it. I found something to do with it. So Stephen West has a Garter Marlar cardigan, which I really like, and I'm super into making cardigans right now because these guys, when you go inside, you get hot and you can't take off your pullover. Like I'm wearing an undershirt, but it's like tight and thin. So I would either be freezing if I take off my pullover and probably uncomfortable because it's so tight. Or I keep it on and I'm hot, which is a different kind of uncomfortable. So therein lies the cardigan perfection. So Stephen West has a Garter Marlar cardigan, but I also love, he's got a pullover called Rain or Shine. It's very painted bricks, but with more purling. And then you just like snag a stitch from the bottom and pull up, I think. I'll have to look into it. So I'm thinking about doing the Garter Marlar cardigan with the Rain or Shine motif. My one concern is that if I have like a really pulled stitch that goes across like 4 rows, that I'll get caught on things. But I've worn shawls that have that similar thing, and I don't necessarily get caught. And I was wearing like my painted bricks a few days ago because it was cool. And what was it? It was getting caught on my purse because my purse is like a carabiner hook. No, the zipper. It was getting caught on like the little like hook. So like you've got the zipper toggle and then like the hook that says, "Hey, I'm gonna catch this toggle." It was just the like 1 centimeter gap. And my like arm or my belly kept like getting caught in there like one stitch. So I think I just gotta let go of the whole will stitches get caught on things, because the answer is either yes and I'll fix it and it's fine, or maybe I block it and somehow like pin it down extra. I'm not sure. I'll work it out. I even bought the Andrea Mowry like honeycomb thing. That sweater I really liked. I ended up starting that and then deciding to frog it because I like lost count in the stitches and everything. I think I ended up doing the yoke like accidentally like once and a half. But anyway, that one's nothing but long pulled crazy stitches. And I was willing to wear that, at least not enough to like finish it, but still. So that's my thought for this gorgeous set of like fingering weight stuff. So, because as soon as, I don't know if you're like me, but as soon as you start to get to the end of a project, you're like, cool, but now what? I also have my 2 at a time socks. I've been bringing those to work because this, even though it isn't hard knitting right now, this is gigantic. I had to go up a size in a bag. So I went from my, the Cool People Shop at Miss Pearl local yarn store bag to my Nevertheless She Knitted, little descent kind of, reference there. And although I think that was Elizabeth Warren and not one of the Supremes, but yeah, this I got in New York. I think it was Knitty City, the one that's in like downtown Manhattan. I don't know enough about New York, but the one that's like in New York, I got that bag. I was very excited. That time I had visited a friend in Jersey and also went to a Jersey shop, I think in near Newark, Orange, Orange County's in California, Orange City. I don't know. But yeah, that one I think was just the local yarn store. Cute. It's, just commit to you. That's what you are. So there you go. Oh, my Groundhog's Day mug. Um, so yeah, I would love to hear in the comments what you think I should do next. Again, since it's all crazy patchworky, no wrong answers. I would love any recommendations. How is your project going? Are you loving it? Are you making this or are you making something different? Maybe you're like, I don't wear shawls that much either. And so you've been watching from the sidelines, but you're making a sweater or a cardigan or a hat, whatever you want. So yeah, let me know either if you are loving this or if you decided to make modifications in what you did. If you ended up frogging it all. I always think it's so, I don't know, you end up with such because we cut the yarn so many times, you end up with such little balls, So if you did that, then what's your plan with all the little scraps if you ended up frogging it? Yeah, did you love it? Did you end up thinking that the colors all had their moments? Did the soloist sing enough? I gotta say, the basket weave bit, again, maybe it's just my colors, but you can see definitely the variegation in between, but I end up looking at the little basket nubbies rather than the basket bottom bit. So I think it's just about color placement. You can't force a soloist is what I'm realizing. You either have the voice for a solo or you don't. And my color that I chose to have a solo didn't have the voice for it. I'm going to force it to sing here, but it'll definitely be part of a big ol' ensemble. I don't know. Sure. That's what we can call it. I'm loving it. I can't wait to see the finished product pictures roll in or to see what people ended up doing, instead of it or something like that. I'm hoping that you're loving the process, whatever you're working on. And remember, if it's not really bringing you joy, just take a break, take a step, get away from it, and then come back when you're either feeling better about it or not. You can always frog things and rip it out. Yeah. So have a great day and enjoy whatever weather it is, before craziness comes. If I don't talk to you before Halloween, happy Halloween. Hope you look spooktacular. All right. Have a great time. Bye.